The lights are off and away they go.
Extremely loose. He's managed to hold on and they get.
He missed the complete that. He's crazy stuff.
Side Freitas is on the grass on the infield for 4. He slides through. He tags Richard.
Hello and welcome to Ontario for the first round of the HPP Simulation Pursuit of the Pedals in the 2016 iROC HPP Simulation Truck Series, and we're going to have it all for you live here on the Global Sim Racing channel. Hi, I'm Samuel Ryman, and alongside me in the booth is Tanner Sharp. Behind the scenes is our director Joe Peak, and our camera sets are provided by Dougie Beard. Starting tonight, just 12 drivers are left fighting for the championship, but to kick it all off, Tanner, we have the Clip in That Apex 175k here at Mosport, which notably is a road course.
Yeah, it's a road course. What a way to kick off the pursuit to the pedals at a 2.459 miles of Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. 10 turns this track is. It's a fixed setup race. 44 laps these drivers will be turning, and a 60% fuel load cell, which is approximately 1 to 2 pit stops, which is about one pit stop pretty much is my guess. Weather today these guys can get loose on exit today, so the weather shouldn't bother these guys too much. And to show you how to get around this road course, let's take it to our lap guide here on the Global Sim Racing channel.
All right, we've got Kevin Brown in the GSRC Silverado, so let's do a lap around Mosport. Coming up to turn 1, you'll hear Kevin hit the limiter simply because it's quicker to stay in second than to have to shift twice. Be careful on the exit not to dip a wheel into the grass because it can send you spinning to the inside wall in a hurry. Next is turn 2, very blind double apexer. You want to be easy on the brakes on the way in, otherwise you'll turn the car around over the crest. Once you hit the bottom, we switch back to the left to set up for 3. This corner is unusual because it has a late apex, but it really opens up on the exit. Don't worry too much if you have trouble putting the power down though, because there isn't much of a chance to pass afterwards. You'll see why as we plunge down the hill through 4, where you'll want to balance the car on the throttle. Up ahead, there's heavy braking from Moss Corner. You gotta remember that the compression at the bottom of the hill means you can really get the anchors out late. Make sure and clip both apexes, but be careful not to clobber the curbs because you're gonna need every inch of traction. From there, straighten out the exit to the backstretch as much as you can, or else risk wheel spins sending you sideways. As we make the long climb up the Andretti Straight, you'll attack it just like before. Straighten out the kinks with as little steering as possible. Now, for 8, once you get it slowed over the crest, you'll turn in a lot sooner than you'd think. The start of the S's is a long one that can be taken with 2 apexes. Plus, you really want to hold right at the exit to set up for 9. The corners are going to get progressively slower now, culminating at 10. Once again, be tidy at the apex with that curb on the final corner to keep the wheels planted. Finally, accelerate to the start-finish line and complete a lap around Mosport.
So that's a lap around the Canadian Tire Motorsports Park here. On the surface it seems pretty simple, doesn't it? Just 10 turns, but some of those are very tricky indeed, which is a problem because we have 12 drivers fighting for the championship starting tonight, and those 12 drivers we're about to show on your screen right now, they're being led by Nick Cohan there because he has more wins than any of the other drivers listed there in the regular season. Jordan Eriksson and Michael Kobach, they have accumulated 2 wins each. The interesting thing about Kobach is they have happened in the last 2 races in a row, and now we are in Canada. Michael Kobach is Canadian. This is a home race for him. Can he get the hat trick? Practice times would indicate that he could. He was was fastest in practice by almost a tenth of a second over Brian Jarzik. People are saying we need to keep an eye on Brian. He's never really said that he's much of a road course driver. However, he did win at Mid-Ohio not too long ago, so let's call Brian Jarzik a road course driver, especially considering he was second fastest in practice. Meanwhile, practice is over now. Qualifying is starting. The drivers all have a track to themselves for 10 minutes, and they've got to put on 2 clean laps, which is hard to do here, Tanner. I know you were talking about the track temperatures could create a bit of sliding around, and they are quite high out there, so it will be interesting seeing if we have any trucks go off course during qualifying.
Yeah, these guys might go off course just going for a nice spin on the exit of the corners because the track temperature is 112 degrees. So if you start getting into that throttle, the back end of the truck can really kick out on you because the rear tires is not picking up enough grip. So we'll just have to see how these guys manage these tight turns at this Canadian Tire Motorsport Park today. Handling could be a big factor for these guys. So passing is going to be one tough cookie to do.
And the thing I find really interesting here, Tan, is we have 22 drivers have shown up for this race. 12 of them, all 12 pursuit drivers, are fighting for the championship. It is mathematically guaranteed one of our pursuit drivers will finish in the bottom half of a field, and let's be honest, probably more than that.
Yeah, probably more than that, but like one driver that's probably not going to finish at the bottom half of the field today because he's been on fire at the road racing lately, especially back at Mid-Ohio, and that's Brian Jarzik. He sounds like he's a favorite to entering this race today, so hopefully he can get it done here at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, or also known as Mosport.
Yeah, it's a couple less syllables, and so we talked about Jarzik as a driver we're going to watch in qualifying. We also mentioned Michael Krobach as a driver we're going to keep an eye on in qualifying, the number 7 truck. Not sure if we can pick him up on track here because he has a new paint scheme there. We mentioned this is a clipping at apex.com 175 here at Mosport. Michael Krobach has clipping at Apex sponsoring his car. Your home for custom motorsports art. They are sponsoring this race today, and reading up on the stuff they do, Tan, it's actually pretty incredible. They do custom orders as well as pre-made paints. Those have gone to professional motor racing teams. I believe Dan Binks of Corvette Racing has been involved with them. They could go as high as the Premier Series, Formula One, MotoGP, or NASCAR. And that they also go globally. They ship globally, there's discounts, and then also they don't just do paints, they also have some shirts, coasters, calendars, and more available for racing teams out there.
Yeah, definitely. I would definitely like to buy a shirt since it's red and black, just like the paint scheme of Michael Krobach there. So, I mean, it's a great sponsor for Michael Krobach to be carrying on his truck tonight, and hopefully he can bring that clipping that Apex machine to victory lane tonight.
Well, that wasn't going to help him. You saw the rear end of his truck step out on the final turn there, and that was a time lap. He does go to the top of the board provisionally, but he was 3/10 slower than his qualifying time. As a result, Jordan Erickson in the number 88 has already bumped him.
Yeah, he's already bumped him, but I wonder how many guys. Actually, I'm already seeing one guy at least for sure that's not going to take a qualifying lap, and that is Jackie Pelmore. Otherwise, I have not seen any other messages saying that they are not going to qualify. But the kicker is here: you want to get a good starting position because track position is so big at a track like this. It is really hard to make up. So hopefully you can get down to best qualifying time and stay on the racetrack. Because if you get off the racetrack and get at least a 0x or a 1x, iRacing doesn't count your lap time. So you want to try and do your best to get a good lap time, stay on the track, and be competitive at least in the top 10 in this race.
Let's get the camera on Brian Jarzik if we can, because I think he's on one of his hot qualifying runs right now, and he's definitely a driver we're going to want to watch at the top. He's going through the left-hander, turn 4 there, not much of a turn, but turn 5 and 6 down here, the bottom of a hill, Moss, this double right-hander definitely is. We'll see a lot of beating and bumping going on down there. And then you get into what they call a straightaway here, the Mario Andretti. Oh, and he loses that, and that shows you it's just not straight.
Yeah, definitely not straight. I mean, he just picked up the tires and just got on the gas, and the thing just turned around on him. there. He was coming up on that straightaway. And what I'm also seeing at this track here, Sam, is there's a lot of elevation changes here. So, and it's a little more an elevation change here than what you would see at Sonoma Raceway, for example. So that's another thing these guys are going to have to really deal with today is the elevation changes.
Surprised not seeing Jarzik roll back out. I think he still has another qualifying lap on the board. We got Bryce Whitson on screen right now. He's currently hasn't qualified too hot, but he's going for another lap. We know he's a regular threat for a top 5 at the very least at road course, I would say. Let's see if he can't pick it up this time. Nope.
Nope, but you touched up on Brian Jarzik there, Sam. I mean, if he goes back out and completes the lap, he is still being timed for that lap, unless that was his warm-up lap. But, you know, who knows? It sounds like Brian Jarzik staying down pit road. Top of the leaderboard at the moment, Jordan Erickson. And with Michael Krobach messing up, I figured he'd be a little bit towards the back. But, I mean, he's still sitting there second place.
Yeah, well, the thing that killed Michael Krobach is he made his mistake exiting the final turn. So by the time he crossed the line, he had started his second lap, but of course his momentum was down and also he was offline, so his lap was going to be junk by the time he got through the first corner, and I guess that's why he's accepting a front row start here. And Troy Haight is the other driver on the track. We got him on camera right now on a hot lap.
Yeah, Troy Haight, I mean, I believe he's in the chase, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe not, or the pursuit. No, he's not.
No, he's not. He's up there in the top 20 in points, just couldn't get a win. Had he got a win, he would have definitely been high enough in points to get himself in the pursuit. So he's out here racing for wins for these final 9 races of the season. He qualified 8th. That's within striking range. Let's see how he does on race day. Meanwhile, there are no trucks on the track, but we still have 3 minutes left of qualifying. I think the order's going to stay as it is right now, though, so we might go ahead and just read down the grid here, and it looks like your True Power Pole Award winner is going to be Jordan Erickson in the number 88. He's one of the pursuit drivers, as is Michael Krobach, lined up alongside him in second. Mark McCrary is not. He's a relatively new name to the series, starting in 3rd place there. Josh Tanner in 4th place is. On the 3rd row are Jonathan Cadell and Robert Barney. Then we got Gary Whitson and Troy Haight. We just saw him on screen on row 4. Nick Cohan and Robert Barber round out the top 10.
Outside the top 10, you have Bryce Whitson in the 11th position, Lee Staples in 12th, Austin Missler in the 13th position, 14th, Mark Myers, and now these drivers I'm about to read off, who will pretty much did not take a qualifying time. That would be Tim Knott in 15th, 16th, Aaron Kleinhans, Milt Matisse in 16th, 17th position, Alan Young in 18th, Jackie Pellemore in 19th, Jonathan Holstein in 20th, and 21st is Jeffrey Gilliam, a pursuit driver, and another pursuit driver is Brian Jarzik at the back. But actually, those drivers who did not take a qualifying time, they're going to be reordered by their iRating because they did not take a qualifying time. So, depending upon who has the highest iRating and iRacing, would be starting closer to the 14th position. There's still about a minute and a half left in the qualifying session, and then that session will just go on into the race, and then everybody will be gridded up and ready to go.
Yeah, all those drivers who didn't turn a lap during qualifying, the highest any of them were in practice, besides Brian Jarzik, was Milt Matisse. He was 14th fastest in practice, so you can understand why all of those drivers didn't want to turn a qualifying lap. They're basically here to stay out of trouble, get some road course experience, bin home a solid top 10 finish. That's not the case for Brian Jarzik. He's here to get through the field because he knows if he can pull off a win today, which is going to be very hard for him to do now, that would lock him into the next round. We have an elimination format here in the Pursuit of the Pedals, and it's 3 rounds, 3 rounds, and 3 rounds. There are 12 drivers in these first set of 3 rounds, the elimination round of 12. And then we go down to 8 drivers after the next 3 races have been completed. do another 3 rounds, we knock out 4 more, and then 4 drivers fight for the championship in 3 rounds at the end of the season. The driver who has the most amount of points at season's end wins a nice set of HPP simulation pedals.
Yeah, very nice set, and Brian Yazik might be the guy to beat to get those pedals, because get this, Sam, before we start today's race, the first race to kick off the pursuit of the pedals, Brian Yazik with 1 win and 12 top 5s. That is the most out of anybody within the top 20 in the point standings. I think the closest to that is 9 top 5s, and Yazik's also got 12 top 10s. So Brian Yazik is one of the most competitive guys in this series, and he might not have been able to take a qualifying time or had a miscue down the Mario Andretti straightaway, but keep an eye on Brian Yazik as this race goes on today. I'm sure he's going to clinch a top 5.
Field is getting gridded up here. The good news for Brian Yazik, as you mentioned, Tanner, the back end of the field got rearranged. Brian gets 15th place, Aaron Kleinhahn 16th, and it's Milt Matisse, Alan Young, Tim Knott, Jeffrey Gilliam, Jonathan Holstein, and Jackie Palmore rounding out the 22 truck field. I like that number, 22. It kind of makes me think of a Formula 1 field or an IndyCar field. That's how many cars are racing in those nowadays. And of course, I know my director, Joe Peake, is gritting his teeth saying, when I was your age, Samuel, it was 26. But fortunately, that's not the case in this day and age. Let's talk about these trucks on the track. They're getting ready for 1 pace lap here behind the pace car. Then they will be racing for 44 laps around this tricky circuit here. And it's going to be exciting, that's for sure.
Well, you and I, Sam, were talking about earlier in the at the top of the show, actually before the show even started here today, about the corners to really watch for. I believe one of us, or our director, mentioned turn 2, Clayton Corner, could be a big miscue for some drivers here. What do you think?
Yeah, the problem with Clayton is you still have grass on the exit of that turn. And anyone who's got on that grass before on iRacing knows that when you get on it, there's no going back. It's like being sucked into a black hole. I know a lot of people have had that experience. There's just nothing you can do. The other trouble zone is going to be Moss. That double right-hander turns 5 and 6. That's not as tricky for one truck to go through. The problem is we don't have one truck. We have 22. They're going to be beating and banning through that tough right-hander. Expect some beat-up fenders and some unhappy drivers coming out of Moss.
Yeah, let's just hope they keep the boxing gloves in the garage area at least, or at least put away, because Moss Corner is some of the tightest corners on this road course. So keep an eye on turns 5 and 6 right there. That's considered Moss Corner, as that Moss Corner leads all the way to Mario Andretti straightaway, where Brian Yazik lost it on throttle there. So that's going to be another key thing is for passing zones, is going down that Mario Andretti straightaway down into turn number 8, which leads to the S's. So keep an eye on those corners today.
We believe these trucks will have to make one stop. 44 laps sounds like a lot. It's really not a long track though, and of course cautions and strategy won't come into play. There are no cautions on the road course in this series, so we won't get to see any DSD lucky dogs. But still, thank you DSD for coming on as a sponsor of the series, and we'll see you back in 2 weeks' time at Chicagoland, I'm sure. Unless, of course, they all get through that race cleanly. We'll have to wait and see. We will be off next week for Labor Day. Another driver I'd like to keep an eye on is Nick Cohan. You talked about the consistency of Brian Yazik, Tanner, but I've also got to say Nick Cohan, having won 5 races this season, whereas no one else has won more than 2, is someone we are definitely going to want to keep an eye on, although he is starting in 9th place today. But before we talk too much about the rest of the drivers, let's talk about the green flag here, because they're about to come through the final sequence of turns. This is the end of a Mario Andretti straightaway. I was going to tell you about it during Brian Yazik's lap. It didn't happen, but you got to see it on the GSRC lap guide early on. Through turn 8, the right-hander, these are the S's. Through turn 9, the left-hander, and then when they come out of his final right-hander, turn 10, the green flag will be in the air, and Jordan Eriksson will have control of the field, and Michael Krobach to his outside. Green flag is in the air. We're racing here in Canada.
And it's side by side right away as they head off down into turn number 1. as Jordan Erickson starts to pull away as now these drivers are going to start aiming towards turn number 2, Clayton Corner.
Ryan Jarzik already making aggressive moves in the first turn. He just went from 15th up to 13th. We're really going to have to watch him come up through this field.
How aggressive do you want to be in a 44-lap race here, Sam? I mean, if you be too aggressive... Oh, Nick Cohen, 21!
And that's on his inside is Robert Barber on the grass. He collects it, but Cohan was one of those drivers like Jarzik trying to be aggressive early on. They almost bit him there.
What a save by all drivers.
Austin Missler is off in the grass. Now that'll cost him a few positions.
Tightest corner of the racetrack right here, Sam. Actually, I think it's the slowest, too.
Oh, yeah.
Down that long straightaway. Well, a couple hiccups early on in the first couple corners.
But up front, they've gotten single file with Jordan Erickson leading Michael Crowbox, Josh Tanner, Mark McCrary, Jonathan Cadell. Rounding out the top 5 there. I don't think we always mention his name. Nice little run going on early on here.
Yeah, Crowbox hanging with Erickson he was pretty close. Just lost a couple tenths off that final corner there as they head towards the start-finish line. Off of turn number 1 here. Down into Clayton Corner. Hard. This is a really hard corner. I can really imagine.
Fortunately, all these truck drivers, their tyres are fresh. They've just been practicing around here without any pressure. They're going to be clean early on here. It'll be interesting seeing how the racing changes as the laps wind on. And they're very short laps around here, by the way. You saw the times during qualifying, about 1 minute 20. 44 laps will go by quite quickly. Yeah,
Ryan Yazik's already clinched the top 10 here, Sam. That 15 truck's hooked up and on rails as they enter the Mario Andretti straightaway as he's catching the number 33 truck of Robert Barber. That's going to be for the 9th position, and he might be getting more in the next couple laps because the next car ahead of the 33 truck is Nick Cohan.
Yeah, well, we saw how aggressive Cohan was in the early going.
Look at Yazik go. Oh, number 33 out of whack.
It's Robert Barber, I believe.
Yeah, he's still... Oh, man, save it. There we go. Woof. Great save by Robert Barber. That's a heck of a driving there. He's still loose coming off the corner. Man, 112 track temperature is certainly not helping Robert Barber out today.
That was Troy Haight who was trying to make a pass on him coming out of that final turn. He wasn't able to succeed. Bryce Whitson is sitting right behind them right now.
Tell you what, Brian Yazik's already a target acquired on Nick Cohan here. Look at this. Nick Cohan, right underneath Nick Cohan. 4th position. This is position number 8. And he gets it.
Oh, and we just had our first incident in turn 2, and it involves the chase driver, I believe, Jeffrey Gilliam and Alan Young. Is that 2 chase drivers, if I'm counting right?
Oh, dead gone. Oh, man. That ain't good.
I apologise. Jeffrey Gilliam is in the chase, Alan Young is not. But what happens is one of them goes off. I believe it was Alan Young first and was kind of just spinning in the grass. Jeffrey Gilliam overshoots the turn and he goes 10-pin bowling.
Yeah, it looked like 2 separate incidents came into one there, Sam. Looked like the number 24 there of Alan Young overshot the corner. Actually, he got loose entering the corner because that thing started kicking out as he started entering the corner there. He tried to save it and spins out in the grass. He actually got T-boned there by Jeffrey Gilliam.
Yeah, Alan Young, I'm mistaken, is not a pursuit driver. He sits 14th in the points, one of the first drivers who isn't in the pursuit, but Jeffrey Gilliam is, and that's not good.
Man, I wonder how that front end is. I mean, that might kill his straightaway speed down Mario Andretti straightaway. That front end's beaten up, Sam.
Oh, big wreck on the front straight. Robert Barber, I believe, is involved, and Lee Staples, and there were trucks going off. I don't know if a couple others clipped the wall as they were trying to avoid it.
Yeah, Robert Barber's been having trouble the last couple laps, just trying to keep his truck under control. He's been loose pretty much everywhere. He actually got loose again off the final corner and ended up clipping the 5 truck of Lee Staples.
Meanwhile, Michael Krobok has gone off from 2nd. He gets back on ahead of Josh Tanner in 3rd. We're getting a replay of this pile up right now. But I can tell you, Michael Krobok has just lost 2nd position to Josh Tanner because of a mistake in Moss.
Yeah, huge mistake on Krobach down in the Moss corner at turns 5 and 6. That leads to Mario Andretti straightaway. And it looks like he pretty much had too much speed carrying into the corners there, Sam. Got into the dirt.
Yeah, I'm looking at pit road right now. It's a busy place, but I guess it's because of all the incidents.
Tell you what, second place battle's still on hand, though.
Yeah, well, Krobach dropped to third. He quickly gets second back. And the big shame there for Krobach is that Jordan Eriksson had also overshot Moss in front of him. And had he not made the mistake himself, he probably could have clawed into Eriksson's lead. Yeah,
it looked like Krobach had the worst of it, though, down in the Moss corner. So he's got a comfortable lead as of right now of 5 seconds. Or 6 seconds, excuse me.
Robert Barney, another Trace driver, off. I think he may have got a bit of a wall out of turn 2. It doesn't look too badly beat up, though.
Yeah. Want to replay here, see what exactly happened to Robert Barney. Oh, he hit the tire barriers back there. Turn number 2 bites again. That's actually the third time in this race so far, just in a couple laps. And more than likely going to keep happening. I mean, we've talked earlier prior to the broadcast there, Sam, that turn 2, Clayton Corner is one of the hardest corners on this racetrack, especially in the high degree of track temperature too. It's pretty hot and slick out there.
Part of me almost wonders if Disney named the Tarzan character Clayton after that turn. Just for its nasty reputation. Okay, my director's telling me no, they did not.
I think our director just said corner of Tarzan at what was it? Zandvoort?
Yeah, Zandvoort, the circuit in Dutch. So, that Disney movie's got its way around on the racetracks. Meanwhile, good little pack going on for third place here. I mean, they're not battling, but they're all just kind of running close together. Josh Tanner in 5th, Josh Tanner in 3rd, Mark McCrary in 4th, and John... And they're all race long, but now they got the problem that the next truck behind him is now Brian Jarzik, has already made up to 6th.
Yeah, he's already made up to 6th, he's on the move. But the pack I'm watching is battle for that third place there.
Meanwhile, we've had 3 retirements from this race as Nick Cohan is off course.
Oh, Nick Cohan there.
He's got a bit of damage, not a whole lot, but that's not going to help him. We get an idea of exactly what happened to him here. Looks like he overshot the turn.
Yeah, he overshot the turn, Sam, but what really made him spin around is, when you go into the grass area, how he overshot the turn, that's a lot of dirt there. And when in iRacing now, since the last build, you get a lot of dirt on them tires. And so when you try to mash down the gas, there's a lot of dirt on them tires, and it causes the rear wheels to spin, and you got no traction control, you got nothing. So you just spin out because those tires are really dirty.
That's Bryce Whitson who's trying to make a move on for 10th there, 2 pursuit drivers. Now, Alan Young, Jonathan Holstein and Robert Barber are all out of this race. And the significant thing about that is none of them are pursuit drivers. So that means of our 19 drivers still on course, 12 of them are racing in the championship. Even if a driver has a horrible day, the worst place they can get is 19th. This is going to be a very close set of 3 rounds here, Tanner, to determine who's going to be eliminated and who's not.
It is, and the driver I really got to feel bad for, but hopefully he can make it up in 2 weeks' time at the Chicagoland Speedway, is Jeffrey Gilliam, Sam, because his lap time last time by was 1:30. He's really off the pace on lap times compared to the race leaders to a 1:22. So that's huge right there. That just means how much front end nose damage Jeffrey Gilliam has.
But he ran faster laps than the 2 trucks in front of him, who also have significant damage, Lee Staples and Jackie Pelmore. And that would explain to you why Jeffrey Gilliam is just trucking along. No free repairs in this series. So if the attrition continues, and his truck stays like that, he might be able to salvage a top 15 or so. That could be the difference between advancing to the elimination round of 8 and just racing for race wins.
Yeah, Brian Yazik here, moving up again. I mean, he's about a second faster last time by. I mean, he is hustling it still here, Sam. I mean, we said on top of the show, he's the guy that's going to be the favorite to win this race due to his performance at Mid-Ohio, and he's showing that, hey, I'm a road ringer too.
The problem he's got is he's 12 seconds back of Jordan Ericsson, and he's got all this track between Ericsson and himself. Granted, it's a long race, but that's a long way to go.
Yeah, he does, but I mean, he's running faster lap times than the race leader itself. So, I mean, 37 laps to go, that might be enough time, but you're asking a lot. But if he keeps running this pace, he is definitely going to shoot for a top 3 finish, that's for sure.
Jordan Ericsson might have traffic himself now in the form of lap traffic. He just put the aforementioned Jeffrey Gilliam a lap down. We'll be coming up to Jackie Palmore soon. Now, granted, these trucks shouldn't put up much of a fight, but the thing about road courses is you never know.
Yeah, I mean, you're just trying to run your line here at a road course, and usually it's a one-groove racetrack, but there are several passing zones, though. So hopefully Jaron Ericsson, as he's number 17, just lets him by right there as he goes through Moss corner.
This could be a position coming up for Jeffrey Gilliam here. That'll make him feel a bit better about his race.
Yeah, I mean, could be. It's coming up, but he's a lap down though, and yeah, that's right. Jeffrey Gilliam's a lap down, so he would have to pass Jackie Palmore again.
Yeah,
that's just asking a lot.
Well, Jackie just went a lap down though. I think they both won that. Okay, there's a lap difference between them and being... Oh yeah, that's right, because Jeffrey Gilliam... I was seeing on my time in the score, and Jeffrey Gilliam was only 1 lap down, but of course that was before... that was at the timing and scoring loop, last lap around, and Jordan Ericsson has since put him another lap down since then, so Gilliam's actually 2 laps down now.
Another key thing to watch here, Sam, is when these drivers start to do pit road or pit stops, because pit road speed is 35 miles an hour, and I believe it's the slowest pit road out of any other road course.
Jackie Palmore getting in the... he's not getting in the way of the leaders, but Mark McCrary and Jonathan Cadell both almost went into no man's land.
That was close.
Yes, it was.
And Yazik's caught Cadell, and maybe catching more here. All I can think of in my head is the Jaws theme.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how much of a fight these drivers put up against Yazik here.
I mean, there is draft here. I mean, a huge draft if you get in line with them just perfectly enough and stay in line with them. You can suck up to that back bumper. It's a long enough straightaway to do so. A lot of elevation changes down that straightaway, though.
It's almost like a Nürburgring straight in a way, isn't it?
Just a little bit. I haven't personally raced at the Nürburgring here on iRacing just yet, but I've seen it the 24 hours of the Nürburgring race live on the Global Sim Racing channel.
Well, Cadell's still here in 5th. Now, of course, these drivers might be a bit more cautious through turn 2 this time, having almost ran off air last time, and that could help Yazik eat up into them a bit.
Tell you what, there's a lot. I don't know if you're seeing it, Sam, but here and there at different portions of the racetrack, I'm seeing a lot of dirt being kicked up and flowing around. I don't know if you're seeing that or not.
Yeah, we're definitely getting a lot of rubber being kicked up, and several trucks, I think a lot of lap down trucks have been kicking up dirt, trying to get out of the way of the leaders. Nick Cohan might be kicking up dirt again. He's off in turn 2. He brushes the wall with the rear right fender, but boy, Nick Cohan, 5 wins this season. It'd be a tragedy if he wasn't able to make it into the elimination round of 8. He's probably already looking forward to Chicagoland at this point.
Yeah, I mean, he came in here leading the pursuit of the pedals with the most wins, and now he's already backed up. He's fallen in the grass on multiple occasions here, especially in this upcoming corner right here, Moss's corner.
Yeah, this one off track excursion here happened in Clayton, but
Oh man, that'll.
Krobach's off.
Oh, Krobach.
Krobach is off from second. He just lost second position. He lost third position. He is down to fourth behind Josh Tanner and Mark McCrary.
Oh wow, I wonder, did he hit that wall though?
I think he co-handed it. He brushed it with the rear of his truck.
Yeah, he did. I did see sparks. He hit it. That's for sure. So Krobach's actually going to fall back to fourth.
Yeah, clipping at apex.com provide you all with nice custom paints. He didn't really need to adjust that one a whole lot, but that's what ended up happening, unfortunately, to him there.
Hey, maybe he gets free paints. Yeah.
Bryce Whitson is off.
Oh man, here
I think that's at Clayton too, and I think he nosed it in the outside wall, but I'm not sure how hard.
Oh, that's a significant good lick there, Sam. Here, take a look at the replay here. That's a good lick into the tire barrier down there.
Get an idea of it, yeah. Yep, I would agree with you there. I'd say a good lick is from a dog. That looks like a bad lick.
Almost looks like he completely missed a corner, but I'm telling you, having grass there, Sam, it does not slow down your car at all. It actually makes you slide even more.
Look at this. We have Michael Krobach and Brian Jarzik battling for position. They started 2nd and 15th. They're battling for 4th right now after Krobach ran off not too long ago from 2nd, and Jarzik has just been eating his way through the field.
Yeah, Yazik's just on flat-out rails right here. I mean, there's no question about it. Michael Krobach's had a couple mistakes today, and it seems like he's having just a little bit loose there, coming off turn number 4 as these guys are heading down towards Moss corner. That's turn 5 and 6. And this is a corner that Krobach had trouble earlier.
Yeah, and he drove in a bit deep there, but held on to it. Meanwhile, Jordan Eriksson talking about being on rails because of all this chaos going back on here. He has a 10-second lead now.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably going to come down to Jordan Eriksson and Ryan Yazik, but it just depends on if Yazik can even catch Eriksson. As of right now, Eriksson's lead over Josh Tanner, it's just growing.
Oh, that's not going to help him.
Oh, no! Uh-oh.
It cost Yazik 5th position to Jonathan Cadell.
Yeah, he got hard in that corner, but I think that the truck just snapped around on him there, Sam.
Yeah, but this is interesting. He goes into the pits. Wonder if he can make it to the end from here.
Might as well. I mean, you lost time right away, but this is 4 fresh tires and a full tank of fuel, and we were kind of guessing at least 1 pit stop, maybe 2, to complete this race. Lap 14, 44 race.
Josh Tanner is off from 2nd. He's lost 3 positions. And he's got some damage to the front right fender.
Yep, that's Clayton corner for you. It bites again. It's going to bite these guys all day. And these guys are really sliding down into the grass area there, and nothing's stopping these trucks. That's hitting and so it's causing them to hit the tire barrier. Very blind on entry, because if I'm not mistaken, that corner, it's like an elevation change, wouldn't you think?
Oh, absolutely it is.
Yeah, right.
You're going over a crest. Gary Whitson, of course, now loses a position to Robert Barney. Meanwhile, Nick Cohan pitted last lap around as well.
Oh man, Gary Whitson trying to get turned around here. He does. Looks like this time around, Whitson just tried getting back into the gas, and the thing just stepped out on him. He will hit that wall very little, though. Will kind of mess up the front of the nose of Gary Whitson's.
Lap 14, Michael Krobach and Jonathan Cadell come into the pits. Both from the top 5 as we get a replay of Gary's incident there.
Okay, so this is about what, lap 14, 13, 14-ish around there, Sam, is when pit window opened up. And one of those first drivers to come down pit road was Brian Yazik. Laps to go, though.
Meanwhile, Jordan Ericsson's lead up front is now 13 seconds. That's understandable because the truck that had been running in second had an off-track excursion.
Now, if you're pitting right now here, Sam, wouldn't you think you'd have to make it on one more pit stop, approximately?
I guess that's what these drivers are assuming, because a lot of these trucks on track have no intentions of coming into the pits right now. We'll know when they get to lap 22, we'll have proof that they can make it on one stop.
Well, I'm going to see if Jordan Ericsson, when he's going to pit, because he is not being pressured for the race lead whatsoever. Mark McCrary is in the second position as Ericsson's down in turn number 1 this time by, and second place is coming off turn number 10. So...
Now, of course, one thing we've got to consider here is how much are the tyres dropping off. And, I mean, looking through the field right now, the competitive times, at least from trucks who haven't pit, is around 124, 125. We saw the leaders at the start of the race running in 122s, 123s. So, there could be a bit of undercutting going on here.
Yeah, best lap of the race right now is set by Ericsson with a 121.272, and last time by at the start finish line he was a 122.700. So that's a pretty big fall off time in my opinion. So I think some of these guys out there on track, maybe with the exception of Ericsson probably, since he's not being really pressured for the lead, but I bet a lot of these guys are screaming for tires right now.
Yeah, well, Jonathan Cadell was off.
Yeah. Did he hit the tire barrier?
Yeah, he did. He did basically what Josh Tanner did earlier. He basically scraped it.
And maybe iRacing can pave that area just a little bit.
The director doesn't seem to like that idea. Yeah, here's the problem for Cadell. He just made his pit stop. So I guess what was happening here is he was on those 4 fresh Goodyears. He's like, oh yeah, I can take this turn fast. No, you can't.
Yeah, again, you are battling 112 track temperature here, Sam, and that means the sun is beating down on the track so much, it's heating up the racetrack. So when these guys try to get back in the throttle, as I said before, the rear wheels are going to be spinning, and you ain't got no stability or traction control. So these guys are really wheeling and dealing it today.
So, of our leaders, or the drivers we've been watching, Yazik, Kohan, Krobok and Cadell have all been into the pits. Everyone else is still out on track, and Krobok's interesting to watch because despite having made a pit stop, he is in 6th position right now. Milt Matisse now also coming into the pits, and he's about to pass Gary Whitson for 5th. Remember, we saw Gary nosing it into the wall earlier. He has a bit of cosmetic damage. Doesn't seem like anything too major though, as Mark Myers joins our club of drivers who have brushed the barrier. Excellent, Clayton.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep an eye on here, Sam. Gary Whitson here. I don't think he made a pit stop yet.
No, he hasn't, but despite that damage, he's still doing alright. Because, of course, Gary is also a pursuit driver, but the way this race is going, I think he's going to be ending up this race in with a pretty respectable finishing position.
Yeah, drivers that have yet to make a pit stop, not yet, is Jordan Ericsson. It's been 18 laps now since the drop of the green flag. We have not had a caution, nor will we see really a caution here. Mark McCrary, Josh Tanner, Robert Barney, and Gary Whitson all have not made a pit stop yet, and I'm showing Troy Haight has yet to make a pit stop.
Yeah, most of the field haven't. Meanwhile, Michael Krobok, even with passing a truck, just set a 122.1 to Jordan Ericsson's 122.5. It'll be interesting to see how much that short pitting helps him out in the long run here once the round of stops is complete.
Yeah, I mean, he's running 122.1s, the race leader 122.5s, and I figured he'd be a little faster, at least in a 121s for sure.
Well, I think he did have traffic.
Yeah, I mean, traffic in play. Yeah, he's right now, and who's that right in front of Krobach there?
It's probably a lap truck because Robert Barney's the next truck
Yep.
for position. He's 7 seconds up the road.
Yeah, that was Jackie Pellimore. He's 2 laps down now. He let Krobach go, so going down the Mario Andretti straightaway. And Mark Myers is in.
Yeah, you're talking about that tyre fall off from Jordan Ericsson earlier on, Tanner. The thing we've got to remember as Robert Barney comes in from the pits from the top 5, the thing we've got to remember about Ericsson's time is you're talking about a 1 second fall off there for a driver who has had a clean track, hasn't had to race anyone, and hasn't got any dirt on his tyres. You throw in any of those factors and you're seeing these tyres make seconds a lap difference for the rest of the drivers in the field.
Yeah, he's right now got about a 16.5 second lead, and growing over the second place, Mark McCrary. Now 20 seconds. Wow, increasing. I wonder if he's down pit road, but I mean, I'm telling you, he's not being pressured for the lead whatsoever. There's no pressure behind you. He's just taking 1 lap at a time. And I mean, if there's one driver I would be worried about, though, is probably Brian Yazik, but I think that's a little too far back where Yazik is compared to where Jordan Ericsson is. So Jordan Ericsson's not being pressured at all, so he's just taking it easy, and the longer he takes it easy, the more probably fresher the tires he has, really. And actually, yeah, Krobach is the biggest threat, actually, highest pitter.
Yeah, meanwhile, Aaron Kleinhans has came into the pits, and he's always a recognisable truck out there, the green number 85. But he's been running in the back half of the field today. He's been keeping it... Oh,
Bryce
yeah,
Whitson. That's down in Moss Corner. I wonder if he got help from the 16 truck. That's Robert Barney.
Another pursuit driver.
I wonder what happened to Robert Barney to cause him to clip Whitson. Looks like he was going underneath Whitson. Oh, yeah, he got the curb, bunny hopped it, and hit Whitson's right rear quarter panel.
Friends don't let friends apex early.
Yes, sir.
Like that's what happened there.
Whitson's still trying to recover from that. A little bit of loose out turn number 10.
Yeah, well now he's got Nick Cohan behind him. Remember, Nick is one driver who has pit yet, Bryce hasn't. And Bryce goes off track to let him by. So...
he dirted.
Yeah, we're pretty much at the halfway point here, with several trucks still not in the pit. So that pretty much confirms, in my opinion, that all the trucks we've seen pit now can make it to the end on fuel. Otherwise, why would they pit that early and made a 2-stop strategy out of it? I think we're seeing a 1-stop race here, where a lot of drivers have came in and pitted early. We're at the halfway point now. Let's see who splits it 50-50. I should imagine Jordan Ericsson will probably be one of those drivers. And then, of course, there are some drivers who will try and see how far they can go before they come down pit road for service.
Yeah, and let's see, Jordan Ericsson, Mark McCrary, and Josh Tanner and Gary Whitson, Troy Haight, and Bryce Whitson, according to my stuff here, I could be wrong though, are the only drivers who really have yet to make a pit stop that are on the lead lap.
And we've been talking about how Michael Krobach is the highest running truck who has pit. The interesting thing about that is the second highest running truck who has pit is Brian Yazik as Jordan Ericsson comes into the pit.
Yep, that's coming to 22 laps on them tires there, Sam.
Yeah, I wonder, he comes in 1 lap before halfway. Meanwhile, Robert Barney is off course, I'm being told, and he's just gone off wide on turn 2, comes back on the track and almost loses it in front of Nick Cohan. That could have been very ugly, but it wasn't.
Man, I don't think Nick Cohan came prepared today. Actually, he did come prepared today, but I don't think he was intending on playing dodgeball.
Meanwhile, Jordan Ericsson has served his pit stop and easily came out in clear traffic.
Yeah, that was actually a pretty quick pit stop. His pit stop was 13 seconds. Michael Krobach's pit stop 8 laps ago is 12.8.
Well, what's significant about this is short pitting has moved Michael Krobach back up into second and Brian Jarzik into third, the highest he has been all race long. Jonathan Cadell, despite meeting the wall at one point, re-emerges in fourth. All these drivers who have stayed out on old tyres, Mark McCrary has dropped back here to 5th place. So, your timing of your pit stop has definitely shaped up the order of this race a bit.
Yeah, and number 7 Krobach is in the Moss corner there, so is Jarzik. And last time Jarzik caught Krobach, Jarzik had that miscue in the S's corner there. Then he went immediately straight to pit road. So let's see what Jarzik could do when he catches Krobach.
Not sure it will happen. I thought it was happening. He got within 4 seconds of Krobach, but I don't know if he's made a mistake. He's dropped to 6 seconds back of him now.
Tell you what, Jordan Erickson came and feel pressured whatsoever. We're at the halfway point this time by, Sam. 22 laps to go. And Gary, I'm sure, according to, thank you, Director. Gary Whitson, and I'm showing Troy Haight and Bryce Whitson as well. They have yet to pit in this race.
And problems for Mark McCrary. He has served his first pit stop. He is coming back down pit road. I almost wonder if this is for a penalty. Gary Whitson now coming in. And it doesn't surprise me that he stayed out this long, Tanner, because this is actually lap 22. This is a halfway point right now. So they're obviously just splitting it 50-50. But big shame here for Mark McCrary, who was having a good run.
Yeah, Troy Haight's in as well, and Mike McCurry. Yep, it was a pit stop. It was a penalty because I'm not seeing tires or anything going. Because if he is taking fuel, he should be out by now. But so it was definitely a 15-second penalty for Mark McCrary. Tough shame, and we talked about 35 miles an hour as pit road speed can be tough today.
And Bryce Whitson also comes in, so I think now Jackie Pelmore is yet to pit. He's a couple of laps down though. So he's probably waiting until he hits lap 22, which won't be for a few more minutes. And then you can say, hey mechanics, go rest until you see your truck on TV in the tyre barrier.
Or in the garage.
Uh-oh, speaking of which, Jackie Pelmore moves over his lap truck. So he's been moving over for a lot of drivers today, but I wouldn't recommend the exit of Clayton as being a move over point.
He really got it woe down to get out of the way. I mean, he's just doing whatever he can do to stay out of the way. I mean, no pun intended there.
So let's give you a rundown of the top 10 now that we're pretty much at the halfway point. Everyone served their pit stop. Jordan Erickson is leading and we're beginning to etch his name on the trophy already. Michael Krobach has rallied back to a solid second place finish despite having a couple of off tracks. Brian Jarzik started 15th, he's up there in third. However, he was one of the very early pitters and he may drop back again. Jonathan Cadell 4th, Josh Tanner 5th, Nick Cohan, Robert Barney and Mark McCrary retires from 8th place. He came back down into the pits and then took a tow into pit road and now has disconnected. Oh, Jeffrey Gilliam?
Gilliam, yep, yes sir. Jeffrey Gilliam, and that's Clayton Corner once again, bites him again off into the grass. This time he doesn't hit the tire barrier, but gets it whooped back up onto the racing surface.
Yeah, and then to round out top 10 is Gary Whitson, Troy Haight and Austin Missler.
Jeffrey Gilliam gets it going, pick up a lot of dirt and rubber flying off right there. So, what are you thinking, Sam? You think one more pit stop from Jordan Erickson or any of these guys? I assume Michael Krobach and Brian Jarzik is going to have to pit again.
No, I'm pretty sure they can all make it to the end on fuel. It's tyres that could be a concern.
If I was a crew chief, I would have been fired.
Well, you never know. We'll have to wait and see how these tyres drop up before these drivers who are going, trying to go about 30 laps on this second stint.
Well, I tell you what, I mean, out of the top 3 guys, last time by at the start-finish line, Brian Jarzik was the fastest with a 1:22.474 compared to race leaders 1:23.856. That's that's over a second quicker, Sam.
Yeah, well, 7/10 faster than the driver Michael Krobach in front of him. He's back within 4 seconds of him now. But is Krobach conserving these tyres for this final stint a bit better than Jarzik?
Probably. Yazik, he's just doing everything he can. He's been on rails all race long, but he can't have the same mistake as he did earlier down in the S's. So right now, Yazik is entering the S's.
Now the problem for drivers who haven't been having a good race, such as Jeffrey Gilliam, chase drivers, this is Jeffrey Gilliam, Aaron Kleinhans, who are both competing in the pursuit, is the attrition hasn't really picked up. So Jeffrey is still back here in 18th. Aaron Kleinhans, I don't really think he's been involved in anything. He's just having a slow race. Meanwhile, Austin Missler is off.
Oh, yep.
Nosed it into the wall in Moss.
Oh, I wonder if he got help, though.
He's another pursuit driver, so that won't help him.
Yeah, he got help, Sam. He got help from the race leader.
Of course, the race leader will argue that, hey, I'm the race leader, you should pull out of the way for me.
Yeah, check out the replay. I don't see big, significant damage that's going to slow down Ericsson. He did get front-end nose damage from it, Sam.
My apologies, that wasn't Moss, that was Quebec corner, turn 3.
Yeah, Jordan Ericsson. I mean, he's just trying to get it woed down here, doing everything he can not to hit Missler, but Missler just seemed like it wasn't away and just spun Missler out. But it did give Ericsson some nose damage there, but although as long as it doesn't slow him down, it's not time to panic.
I almost wouldn't be worried about Ericsson being slowed down. I think a bigger sin you get concerned with when you hit someone up the rear like that is a possible overheating engine.
Oh, yeah, I mean, if that's the case, you want to try to get in clean air as much as possible then.
Well, he's been doing that the right way. It will be interesting to see what his lap time is next time by. His last lap time was 1:25, but that's obviously because he had to woe up because he was up the rear end of another truck. It'll be interesting seeing what his actual lap time is this time by.
Yeah, we're gonna have to see when he crosses the start-finish line here. But we'll stay with.
He does seem to have pulled away from Michael Krobach a bit during the course of his lap. I can't tell you that, so I think he might be alright.
He might be alright. He's going down Mario Andretti straightaway right now, that long straightaway, and that's Krobach just entered that straightaway along with Yazik. Yazik has actually been catching Krobach, but now entering the S's goes the number 88 of Jordan Ericsson.
Meanwhile, Robert Barney coming in for a second stop. We didn't expect to be seeing this at all. Almost wonder if he didn't take enough fuel on his scheduled stop.
Either that or you got a speeding penalty. Otherwise, I don't see a reason to come back down pit road unless you got too much damage. Okay, so lap times for Jordan Ericsson was a 1:22.984.
And Krobach is coming in. I'm sorry then, I guess this is a two-stop race. This is very weird because we saw a lot of drivers making it to the halfway point. I mean, it can't be for a penalty because pit stops were made laps ago.
Yep, and Yazik stays out though, but he's about 15 seconds back. And Krobach, he's taking 4 tires and he's out of there.
Yeah, I'm just trying to work this out because we saw 3 trucks make it to lap 22.
Well, I'm glad I'm not a crew chief.
Nick Cohan was also in.
Now, I know Yazik pitted 1 lap before Krobach. I know that much. And Brian Yazik's been out there for the last 15 laps now. So, it's a very interesting call on Michael Krobach's part to be pitting right now. Jonathan Goodell, it would be another car within the top 10 with the exception of Milt Matisse that has multiple laps on tires. Because the longest under that would be 7 laps, and that's Josh Tanner. And there goes Yazik down pit road, so interesting.
Well, this looks like a scheduled 2-stop strategy, so our sources indicate that they can make it 1 stop as far as fuel is concerned.
But I mean, the Yeah, the longest we've seen was 22 laps on fuel. Or at least that's as long as Jordan Erickson went. And he wasn't being pressured by anybody. He had a huge lead. I mean, he went down pit road 22 laps on his run, so... and they weren't really gaining a lot of time on Jordan Erickson.
Josh Tanner, the driver who's up into second place, almost lost it in turn 2 there.
Yeah, wheeling and dealing. I mean, it's really tough to be driving on these road courses here on the iRacing simulation. You got no traction, no stability, you're using a lot of force feedback, and the only view you get is the cockpit view.
And Jeffrey Gilliam goes for spinning Clayton. Somehow doesn't get hit by any of the cars behind him.
Yeah, Jeffrey Gilliam's just wanting this race to be over with and travel to Chicagoland Speedway in 2 weeks' time. So Jeffrey Gilliam's got a lot of work to do to make up in 2 weeks.
Well, Josh Tanner hasn't pit, so that's why he's in second place right now. And Krobok and Jarzik, who are on the newer tyres, should dispose of him quite easily.
Yeah, he hasn't been in for a little while now. Let's see how long was Tanner out for? Tanner, 8 laps.
Yeah, so he's probably trying to do the one-stop strategy here. Oh, we got another driver. Mark Myers was thinking about joining the Clayton Club earlier, but then the tyre wall reminded him that he paid his membership earlier on in the race, so he drove back on the track.
Yeah, Now I'm just trying to figure here. Jordan Erickson, last time he was on pit road was 9 laps ago. I think that was it. I think Erickson.
Jordan Erickson has a 40-second lead. He can pit when he feels like it.
Yeah, I agree. And he ain't gonna pit. I don't think he ain't gonna pit anymore, honestly. I think the battle works brewing up. It's Krobach and Tanner. Josh Tanner.
Yeah, well, Tanner, it seems right now, you'd almost say, is trying to attempt a one-stop strategy here. He has 1 second over Michael Krobach, who is on much fresher tyres than him. That's about 2 seconds lap difference between them. Krobach can't afford to get held up by Tanner too much, though, because Brian Jarzik is in 4th place and could close in on them.
Yeah, here he comes, man. He's closing a big rate of speed on Josh Tanner here. Look, coming up.
I'm sorry, Cohan has been into the wall quite hard. And his truck doesn't have too much damage, but the tow is all out of whack, and that's going to hurt him.
Yeah, we don't have an onboard camera view, like the inside the cockpit, see how off that steering is. Watching replay here, and I mean, if you
he was on the gas. It almost makes you wonder if he lost control when he was accelerating out of a turn.
Yeah, I don't know if we can see if the steering is a little off whack.
No, the problem, and yeah, he's losing it almost 7-9 because he got on the grass a bit. The problem is Cohan has already made 2 stops.
I don't think his steering is out of whack. I don't think he knocked a toe out or anything yet, but man, I bet these guys all these drivers, all 22 guys, probably felt like that this track is physical. Oh, Cohan! Battle for second!
Yeah, battle for second right at the time we saw Cohan lose control out of turn 1, but
Josh
kicks
Tanner
it.
around!
Pointing in the right direction, Josh Tanner does not.
A lot of activity going on around the racetrack here.
Yeah, because what this has done is it's shaped up about a second between Krobach and Jarzik now. And I bet if there was any contact there, that would explain why, because Krobach was trying to get by before Jarzik got to him. Problem, Jarzik is to him now. Nope.
There we go. No, there was no contact between the drivers. But here we go, Jarzik trying to get to Michael Krobach.
Yeah, Jackie Palmore off there. He's a couple laps down already.
Man, this battle for second's heating up, Sam. I just can't keep my eyes off this battle for second place.
Yeah, well, these are two drivers who are very respectful of one another. They've raced around each other a lot.
Their teammates.
And their teammates.
Yeah, and if they ever make any kind of contact whatsoever, they have to understand that, and I'm sure both these drivers do, that it's just racing. That's all it is.
Don't know if that goes for a pursuit round, though, when they're battling for second.
Yeah, and
no chance of chasing the leader down.
Here he goes. He's getting closer to that back bumper at number 7, Michael Krobach.
Problem is, there's no brilliant overtaking opportunities around here. He's going to have to wait for a mistake by Michael. Michael made one out of a final turn, but Brian wasn't close enough.
Now, last time Yazek got this close to Krobach, Yazek's the one that made the mistake and almost does there.
Clayton is calling.
Clayton, yeah. You called it, Sam. Clayton was calling. Turn 3, Quebec corner. Nope. I figured he'd dive it in there, but he didn't.
Didn't they used to have a sign just outside Champions Wall at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve where cars would hit there? It said, "Welcome to Quebec." I feel like I need one of those on the exit Clayton.
Oh, Krobach sideways.
Not the first time we've seen that.
Yeah, that's Moss corner, folks, and he keeps the truck under control. Flies some dirt up into Brian Yazek's windshield. Does not distract Yazek one bit. He's all over that back bumper, picking up some draft down Mario Andretti Speedway. Let's see what he can do. Coming into the S's here. Looking, grass there. Looking now again. Dives it in there. Shuts the door on Yazek.
And it hurts him on the exit of 8 there. He came in with too much speed. Quite surprised to see Brian being that aggressive against a teammate on a place of a track where he wrecked on his own in qualifying.
Well, we're coming down to it saying there's no more pitting here. You're battling for position. You got to get all you can get right now. And if these two drivers don't wreck, they'll be looking up for some good points day today here, Sam.
Yeah, absolutely they will. They've only got to get through to the top 8.
Oh, Clayton corner. Oh, I thought Krobach messed up there a little bit, and as they're coming around Jeffrey Gilliam, should not be a problem there. Quebec corner.
Meanwhile, we'll give you an update on the pace of Jordan Erickson. Only 6 trucks are left on the lead lap now, and Troy Haight in 7th place has been put a lap down.
Man, this battle, man. I could look throughout the field of what's going on, but this battle just keeps heating up.
Oh, what's going on? There's a change for 4s. Jonathan Cadell by Josh Tanner, aided by the fact that Josh Tanner overshot Quebec corner.
Oh boy, yeah. I mean, it's a lot of these corners, especially Clayton corner, can be really easy to overshot here, Sam. I mean, I really never really raced here before. I know the trucks do, but I haven't really taken the time to turn some laps here. But man, oh man, I mean, it sounds like a really fun road course to really get around here.
I remember turning TV on to watch my first NASCAR Camping World Truck Series race here, and then by that point they'd already paved the exit off Clayton Corner, and I'm like, oh, that takes half the fun out of it. Of course, I'm sure the drivers feel a bit differently.
Well, get this, Sam. The top 6 cars are only the cars on the lead lap. Everybody else is at least a lap down or more.
The last 2 on the lead lap are Josh Tanner and Gary Whitson. They're attempting the one-stop strategy, as is the first truck 1 lap down, Troy Haight.
Oh man, Yazzie had a big moment there behind Michael Krobach, coming just before Moss corner there, and kind of lost some ground to him, but he's still keeping pace.
The thing I don't get here is Michael Krobach and Brian Yazek are back 40 seconds of the leader Jordan Erickson. After one stop, they were only back about 10-15 seconds. I just don't get why you would want to go with this 2-stop strategy, but it's a mix down the board. About half of the trucks have taken 1, half of them have taken 2, and if there is a tyre fall-off coming for the leaders, it's got to show in the last 9 laps here.
Hey, I've seen some crazy strategies being pulled off by a lot of drivers on iRacing and in NASCAR in real life, and one driver that's always got my head twisted on strategy a lot is Nick Cohan. I've seen Nick Cohan start from the back, do some strategy. It's like, okay, that's some odd strategy, but he ends up winning the races from that. So Nick Cohan, he's definitely one of those guys that pulls off some weird strategies, but it gets the job done. So two-strategy race, sometimes these drivers may know something that I don't know.
Nick Cohan in 9th position right now. That is where he qualified, and he was 10th fastest in practice, so I guess this isn't his favourite track. I think he can hold his head relatively high coming out of here. He should be able, and I'll tell you what, those 5 wins he had in the regular season will definitely help him get through the top 8 here.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a lot of cars ahead of him that he can pass for position, like Robert Barney. And then let's see where Robert Barney is. Robert Barney's coming to the start-finish line, and Nick Cohan's actually coming off turn 10, coming to the start-finish line, so not too far behind.
Yeah, you see all the intervals here. You can see them at the bottom of the screen there. They're all about 4 seconds, so those drivers are definitely ready to pick up a position or two if ones in front of them make mistakes.
Well, 8 laps to go, and a position that I can see that's really going to change within them 8 laps. It's probably going to be between Yazik and Krobach there, Sam. Maybe Cohan can get the Barney. Trying to see who else is close by each other that would be for position. Lee Staples and Austin Missler just swapped positions.
Yeah, now Staples comes into the pit,
wow.
so does Milt Matisse.
look at the rear end of the back of that truck there, Sam. He's seen some beating and banging, including with the tire barrier today, I bet.
This is good news for Aaron Cleanarms that these two are pitting. Aaron is running in 14th, but goes up into 12th as he passes them on track. Good news for one of our pursuit drivers there.
Oh man, Yazik almost loses it. He got really sideways in Moss corner there, Sam.
I always think the good thing about getting it sideways there is you're going downhill. So surely if you get sideways, you're pointing back uphill again, and you regain traction.
Man, Moss corner is a tricky corner because yeah, you said you're going downhill and you're carrying so much speed down that hill. You got to get on the brakes to make that right-hander. That's turn 5 and turn 6.
Yeah, the turn's a very interesting one. Some drivers love it, and some drivers are sane.
Man, now I'm sitting here watching this race, or commentating this race today, and I'm wondering why NASCAR Cup Series doesn't come to this road course. I mean, we could use some road course racing on the Cup schedule. Because this is actually, because I keep watching Yazik and Krobach, and every time I look at these two drivers and racing at a road course, especially right now, it just makes it fun to watch. It's like watching a short track at a road course. Krobach sideways. Yep.
That's what Brian needs him to do when he's ready for it.
Man, what a good launch off turn 6 though. Headed down Mario Andretti straightaway. Holy cow, did Krobach to get a launch. But loses fast.
5 laps left to go, and I just know someone's going to bin it at Clayton again.
Yeah, that corner, I mean, whenever you're going to come to this racetrack, man, that turn 2, Clayton corner is really going to bite you. And I mean, and another corner that's probably going to bite you too, is probably Quebec corner. I mean, we've probably seen like 1 or 2 incidents in that corner today, but really the corners that really we've seen incidents, Sam, has been definitely Clayton corner and Moss corner. That's turns 5 and 6.
Yeah, I kind of think we anticipated that a little bit. A lot of these drivers running around here now with beat-up trucks. I'm sure they're all going to want to go to this race's sponsor, clippinatapex.com, to get some custom or even pre-made paints to go on their trucks. And that is your home for custom motorsports art, clippinatapex.com. There's that company coming on board today to sponsor this race, and also Michael Krobach's truck, and we're very thankful for them for doing so. It's been a very interesting race to watch. Bit of attrition going on in the middle of the field, but most of all, a lot of strategy. I don't think the battles are over yet. Jonathan Cadell is off from 4th.
Oh yeah, I mean, he's in the grass there. And picked up a lot of dirt, got sideways, entering that corner.
Tell you what, for most of the chase drivers, they're going to come out of here, pursuit drivers rather, they're going to come out of here with good points finishes today.
Yeah, they are, and there's a couple drivers that are definitely going to have to make up in the next 2 races, starting in 2 weeks at the Chicagoland Speedway, where normally a chase would start. But today, what a great way to start off a chase or pursuit for the pedals, for that example there. And here we go, battle for second, Sam. Side by side, nope.
Filled about it.
It looked like Krobach kind of messed up before Clayton corner, and he might have messed up there again. Yazik, he thought about diving it in there, but Krobach's doing everything he can to hold off Yazik.
Yeah, I'm trying to look through the order at our pursuit drivers right now. And they are all running. Oh, and Austin Missler goes off. He's one of them.
Yeah, he's got...
Off at Clayton.
He has that rear end damage from before when Jordan Erickson got into him.
Okay, so if you go back to Milt Matisse in 13th place, to my count, only 2 drivers in the top 13 are not in the pursuit. We have 11 of the 12 drivers running in the top 13 in this race, and that is pretty impressive considering we're at a road course. The big loser in today's race is Jeffrey Gilliam. He's down in 17th.
And majority of those pursuit for the pedal drivers have started in the top 10, Sam. So I think one of the drivers that really started deep in the field was Brian Yazik. Started 15th. Oh, and Milton Matisse off track.
Yeah, one of the pursuit drivers, that costs him 13th position to Lee Staples.
That's big right there, because you want to get every point you can.
Yeah, especially, well, let's think about it. Let's say this was the one pursuit race. You would have to be in the top 8 of the pursuit drivers. Well, that would be about 10th place. So these drivers who think they're having good runs there in 11th and 12th doing damage limitation, that could actually come back to bite them.
Yeah, it could come back to bite, and that's why coming up in the Chicagoland Speedway in 2 weeks, you want to try to gain back those points you lost here at Mosport. Get those points back as much as you can, because you're in the pursuit for the pedals now. You gotta be competitive every single week if you're gonna try to win this championship. I mean, you gotta be on the edge of your steering wheel and staring at your screen and do everything you can to be up front.
I'd almost be tempted to say that Brian Yazik realizes the significance of racing in the pursuit right now, and is just going to hand back there and not try anything and wait for Michael to make a mistake.
Oh,
and there's one.
Yep.
That's what he was waiting for.
Yep, that cost Krobach there. I think that was out of turn 1. Turn 1, he got
Brian
really loose.
Yazik has gone from 15th to 2nd.
Pretty significant damage on that number 7 machine, clipping that Apex machine there, Sam. Still fighting the wheel.
Yeah, well, he can afford to take it easy, though. He's got 25 seconds ahead of Jonathan Cadell, who's running in 4th place. Meanwhile, though, Bryce Whitson, the lap truck in 10th. Yeah, he's held up Yazik a bit.
Krobach, I don't know where he got the speed to catch Yazik, but holy cow.
Yeah, it's because of Bryce Whitson running in 10th place there. Brian kind of got bogged down behind him. You can't really blame Bryce too much. It's really hard to let trucks by at that point in the circuit, but that really allowed Krobach to get right up to him.
It really did, but look at all that clean air and that clean racetrack ahead of Yazik. And Yazik, we know, has been a little quicker than Krobach, so yeah, providing if Yazik doesn't mess up, I mean, he'll be all right.
2 laps left to go. You see at the top of your screen, Jordan Eriksson is at about 1.5 laps to go. He's got Aaron Kleinhans, a pursuit driver, running in 12th place right now, who's taken very interesting racing lines that I'm sure Jordan's not appreciating.
Yeah, but he isn't being really pressured right now for the race lead whatsoever. I mean, we're coming down to it here with 2 laps to go. Actually, less than 2 laps to go. Lap and a half approximately down Mario Andretti's straightaway, so he can't be all too mad about lap cars.
Oh, we really haven't gave Jordan any screen time today because he's been absolutely dominating it while we've been watching 99 bottles of beer in the turn 2 wall, taken down one at a time.
Oh, man, that's a classic.
Now the white flag is out for Jordan Eriksson. He's just got to do this one more time.
One more time, and don't feel pressured even though there's a lap car ahead of you. I think that's Alan Young just ahead of him. Don't feel pressured. You know, you're going to win this race. Just take each corner at a time and come bring home that checkered flag and advance to the next round.
Yeah, I think that's Mark Myers in the 04 running a couple of laps down in 16th place right now. Yeah, he could run a 2-minute lap and still win. He's got 30 seconds over Brian Yazik.
I mean, if he really wanted to, he could probably just stop at the start-finish line and wait until Brian Yazik comes in and pass it. I mean, I remember we used to do that when I was a kid on the console games.
And of course, the great news here for Jordan Eriksson is as long as he shows up at the next 2 races, he is through into the elimination round of 8 with this win. And it's only just a few moments away from him now. He's coming down the Mario Andretti straightaway. Then he'll be coming into the right hand at turn 8. Switches back to the left hand at turn 9. Those are the S's. And then we'll come through White's turn 10. And the checkered flag will be in the air, waiting for him, waving for him. And here he comes now. Give it to Jordan Eriksson. He's done everything right and crosses the line in first place. He's through to the elimination round of 8 with a win here at Mosport.
Brian Yazik's more than likely going to finish in the 2nd position. Krobach will more than likely finish 3rd unless something huge happens like Yazik spinning out or something like that. But although I think those guys will be our top 3 podium finishers. Yep, Yazik's going to finish 2nd.
Yeah, and then it'll be a nice round for Jonathan Cadell back there in 4th place, our only non-pursuit driver in the top 5. And Josh Tanner, he was ranked 5th in the pursuit coming into tonight's race. He's going to finish 5th. I'm sure that'll help almost solidify a position for him in the elimination round of 8, finishing in 5th place there. And then the last truck on the lead lap will be Robert Barney in 6th.
Yes, sir. And yep, last
Alright, sorry, no, I take that back. Robert Barney's not on it. Gary Whitson. My time in the scoring throws a curveball once the checkered flag gets thrown out. Gary Whitson is the last track on the lead lap in 6th place, despite nosing it into the wall early on.
First car 1 lap down, Robert Barney.
Yes, and nice run there by Robert Barney. Like I say, first truck 1 lap down, that will give him 7th place. We'll give you the full race rundown here. And I think, though, before we go, I want to give an award here. Our M-Spec Hard Charger of a race has got to go to Brian Yazik from 15th to 2nd. So well done, Mr. Brian Yazik, on that. Won't lock him into the pursuit, but to the next round of the pursuit, but that's the 2nd best he could have done. Probably the best he could have done after starting 15th. We'll be back in just a few moments here on the GSRC for drive interviews and the full race rundown. Don't go away. Hello and welcome back to Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, where we just witnessed 44 laps of racing action here in the 2016 iROC HPP Simulation Truck Series. This was the first round of the HPP Simulation Pursuit of the Pedals, a clip in that Apex.com 175k, and at the end of the day it was won by the number 88 machine of Jordan Eriksson by almost half a minute over Brian Jarzik in second place, despite Brian starting in 15th place. That earned him our DSD Lucky Dog, Derek Spears Design our M-Spec Hard Charger of the Race Award. And then in third place there was Michael Kobach. He practiced fastest, he was second in qualifying, fell one position back in the race to third. I bet he would have preferred that to have gone the other way around. Jonathan Cadell and Josh Tanner round out the top five, and then we get back to Gary Whitson there in sixth place was the last truck on the lead lap. Robert Barney 7th, first truck 1 lap down. That's usually what follows after the last truck on the lead lap. And then you got Troy Haight there in 8th place. Nick Cohan and Bryce Whitson rounding out the top 10, Tanner.
And outside the top 10, you got in the 11th position, Austin Missler matching his car number, finishing 11th tonight. Aaron Kleinhansel finished 12th. Lee Staples in the 13th position. Milt Matisse in 14th. Tim Knott in the 15th position. Mark Myers will finish 16th. 17th is Jackie Pelmore. 18th place is Jeffrey Gilliam, who's going to have to make up a lot of points come Chicagoland in 2 weeks' time. Mark McCrary in the 19th position, 22 laps down. Rounding out the top 20 is Robert Barber, 41 laps down. Jonathan Holstein in 21st, and Alan Young finishing 22nd respectively, 41 laps down.
Yeah, I think a lot of that can be attributed to the pile-up we saw happen on the front straight early on in the race. Those are the drivers who will want to forget tonight. Let's talk to the drivers who don't, beginning with our third place finish, Michael Kobach. Michael, it was your home race. You were coming off of back-to-back wins. You were fastest in practice, you were second fastest in qualifying, and granted you made a mistake out of a final turn though, it looked like. Are you satisfied with third in the race?
Absolutely not, Samuel. That was a night of failed execution all around, starting in qualifying. We were on a real good lap in qualifying there with our number 7 clipping that Apex Chevy. Definitely going to be on the pole, and got a little bit loose coming off that final corner, gave that away, and then in the race we were running second to Eriksson there at the beginning. I thought if we just settled in, got a good rhythm, we could get him. I think we had a pretty even pace, but it was just mistake after mistake, and he drove a flawless race and did some wild strategy there. I don't know how he made it on one stop, and he got the win.
Yeah, we were very curious about that because we saw some about 4 or 5 trucks able to make it lap 22. I gotta be honest, I didn't realise you were all pushing it on fumes at the end there. The two-stop strategy seemed to be due to tyres from our perspective, but you're saying that those drivers who made it to the halfway point, they were lucky?
Yeah, it was a fuel strategy. The fuel window was about 21 laps, but if you saved enough on the pace lap, it could probably buy you some. If you saved enough during the run, or you're running slower lap times, that could buy you some. So, the guys that were a little bit down on speed, I'm not surprised that they made it, but Eriksson was running, real fast lap times. He was a couple tenths faster than us. I think he had the fastest truck all night, so hats off to him, but that end of the run there, he was definitely clutching it because we made up about 10 seconds. But not tires tonight, it was fuel.
Okay, now I've got to ask you about your battle with Brian Jarzik at the end there. Had you communicated with him at all on the radio? Did you know if he was going to try and attempt to pass on you on track, or did you know that he was just waiting for you to make a mistake?
No, we're teammates. We race hard. We talk through the whole race. I knew he was probably just waiting there to set me up and wait till I made a mistake, and he got a good run. We were catching some lap traffic. Lap car looked like it was going to spin out, and so I got on the brakes a little bit too much, and it looped the rear end around, and I smacked the wall there. Gave Brian second spot, but all in all, still a good point tonight. Happy to have Clip in that Apex sponsor the race, sponsor our truck. If you're interested in some custom motorsports art, check out their website, clippingthatapex.com. Scott does awesome illustrations. But all we needed to do was, get another solid top 5, just point into the next round of the pursuit for the pedals, and I think we did that tonight. So disappointing. I thought we had one of the trucks to beat, but I'll still take a third.
All right, well, we look forward to seeing you in Chicagoland. And like you say, Michael, third place, not a bad way to start off the first round of a pursuit.
Yeah, I'm starting to feel like Chase Elliott here a little bit, beating myself up.
Well, we'll let you go and beat yourself up then if that's what you need to do, Michael. But we'll see you in 2 weeks' time at Chicagoland. Maybe we'll be speaking to you from Victory Lane there.
Thanks, Sam. Have a good night.
So that was our third place finisher, Michael Krobach. Let's go one step up the podium. Tanner's called up with Brian Yazik.
Catching up with Brian Yazik. And Brian, I hope you're not trying to beat yourself up too bad, unlike Michael Krobach. But I tell you what, you had a bad, fast whammer jammer truck that you had tonight. I called it out on the broadcast. You were on rails. But are you satisfied with your second place finish, despite having such a bad, fast truck?
Starting 15th because you screwed up both of your qualifying laps. I'm going to take a second place finish. At this point, it's all about top 5s to get you into the next round. So I'm not, typically I'll beat myself up over a second place, but tonight I think I'll take it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you can't go wrong with having a truck like that, and all of a sudden you finish second. You knew you had a truck to win, but hey, second place, and at least it gives you good momentum heading into our next race, which is going to be the Chicagoland Speedway in 2 weeks' time. Do you feel like you got a shot to win the Chicagoland Speedway?
I think this HPP simulation Chevrolet, I think we got a shot at it, but last year in another league that I was running, really struggled at Chicagoland in the truck, and I really don't know why. So really what I'm hoping for is we come here this time around and I got some speed that I need and be able to get up there and contend. I mean, the 1.5 mile tracks have been good to us. All race or all season long except for Kansas, where I ended up about 40 feet in the air. That's about the only bad one that I can really recollect. But kind of beyond that, I'm really looking forward to New Hampshire right after Chicagoland there. I've always always run good there, kind of anything I've ever sat in. So if we can get another top 5 in Chicago, I'll feel happy. We go for a win, hey, that's awesome. But really looking forward to New Hampshire there in a couple weeks.
Maybe it'll be really windy when we go to the windy city of Chicagoland Speedway, just southwest, actually, from Chicago. Chicagoland Speedway located in Joliet, Illinois. And Brian, here tonight at Mosport, you made 2 pit stops. It looked like you are a 2 pit stop strategy. Was that the right call, or what was your strategy to try to catch Jordan Erickson, or do you just have that mindset saying he's just too far ahead, I'm just going to try to get second?
I think what it really boiled down to is I didn't think Jordan could make it. I mean, every piece of everything that I was reading and seeing, I was going, you could go about 21 and a half laps just fine, and anything beyond that, you're kind of in no man's land. So, I mean, bravo to Erickson for getting up there, getting the win, and running some pretty competitive times while still fuel saving. I just thought it wasn't possible at all to make it, and I'm not really much of a fuel saver, so I was kind of looking around the top 5 in the race and just kind of seeing who was going to be there towards the end of it. And Mikey and I, we both had pretty much the same strategy there to come pit. So I figured, Jordan's really the only guy that is probably going to walk away with it, on the one-stop strategy. Everybody else kind of fell by the wayside. So I figured, you know what, bring it on down pit road, slap 4 fresh feel goods on it, fill it up full of Sunoco fuel, and send her on the way.
All right, Brian. Well, before we let you go to celebrate at least your second place finish for here tonight for the pursuit of the pedals, is there anything that's on your mind that you would like to say?
Nothing. I mean, that's a great start to a sentence. Thanks to Mark and HPPsimulation.com for sponsoring our series, putting the logos on the side of my truck. Sim racing apps really kind of helped me out, and it gives me a lot of options to look at. we're in it. We're in it to win it. This is the pursuit time. I can't forget houseofjorky.net too. Go there, Fat Kid approved. This is the pursuit of the pedals time, and this is time where you go and you chase what's out there and what you've been running after all season long. And we're just getting stronger every single week. So our goal is going to be there to get into the final round. And once we get there, I think it's on from there. And I've got probably just as good of a shot as anybody to go out there and win that championship.
All right, Brian. Well, we will see you in 2 weeks' time at the Chicagoland Speedway in the Windy City.
Sounds good. See you guys later.
That was Brian Yazik finishing in the second position tonight here at Mosport. And in Victory Lane, Sam, you have caught up with Jordan Erickson.
Yes, Jordan, first of all, congratulations on your win and pretty much locking yourself into the elimination round of 8.
Thank you. Pretty excited about it. I'm glad to be locked in, not have to worry about it for at least another couple races. After that, we'll see what happens. But pretty excited about getting this one out, or getting a win out of the way in the chase this early.
Alright, so all of our other drivers who have came in for an interview have gone now, so you can tell us your secret. How did you make it to the end on one stop?
Well, I knew it was going to be close, and I knew that as long as I saved fuel during the pace lap, and then I was able to maintain my own pace in the race, which them guys making mistakes really allowed me to run my own race. I think at one point there, I was getting pressured a little bit by Michael, and then he made a mistake, and then at that point there, I knew that as long as I saved fuel in the right places, that I'd definitely be able to make it to halfway. And as soon as I made it to halfway, that was it, because I didn't have to worry about that extra, the extra pace lap that we end up doing. So as long as I was able to make it halfway off the start, I knew I was good.
Okay, so you were up front, like you say, you had a bit of pressure earlier on, and then you were kind of just riding your own laps. What was the trickiest part of the circuit? We saw a lot of trucks going off in turn 2, we saw a lot of contact down in Moss, and that we also saw that the track temperatures were very high. Was there one turn that was catching you out every now and then?
Honestly, I just tried to run my own race and make sure I didn't beat myself. That's the biggest thing in road course racing. You're not racing other cars or other trucks or what have you. You're racing yourself. As long as you don't beat yourself, you got a chance at it. And I think that's where I excelled a little bit more than any other guys. I had a few close off tracks, and I really need to apologize to Austin. I was prepared to ride through the corner behind him, but it just slowed down a little bit more than I was prepared, and I got into him. So definitely apologize him for that. I hope it didn't hurt his race too much.
Well, I'm sure he'll appreciate that apology. Well, Jordan, you don't have to worry about winning at the next 2 races per se, but you do have to be there in attendance in order to get yourself through to the elimination round of 8. However, we know you're going to be there trying to win. Do you think you can do it at Chicagoland?
I think so. I had a good run earlier this year. I won California. I think that's a fairly similar feeling of a racetrack. I feel like I think what run Kentucky, I think. I did okay there. I just had to start in the back and got caught up in something. That's a similar racetrack. I should be okay, but I don't know. Like you said, I don't have to worry about it now. Now padding points isn't necessarily a thing that I need to worry about. It's just as long as I got that first win, I just need to keep everybody else out of victory lane.
All right. Well, thanks for coming to talk to us, Jordan, and we look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks' time at Chicagoland. Enjoy your Labor Day weekend. We're sure you will with that victory in your belt.
Thanks, guys.
Alright, so that was our race winner, Jordan Erickson there, Tanner, and we definitely saw an interesting race here at Mosport, but I think a great thing is seeing that most of the Pursuit drivers all had solid finishes, so it's going to keep the championship very close as we go into Chicagoland.
It's going to keep it very close as we get to Chicagoland, and I'm telling you, Sam, 2 drivers I'm going to keep an eye on next in 2 weeks' time at Chicago is going to be Jeffrey Gilliam and Milt Matisse, 2 drivers who are going to have to make up some kind of points or at least get a win if they want any part of the pursuit to the pedals or have any shot at the pedals. So those drivers are going to keep an eye on in 2 weeks' time. I'm ready to go to the 1.5 mile of Chicagoland. It's one of those crazy mile-and-a-half racetracks because it's very different from any other mile-and-a-half racetrack because the backstretch also has a bend and you're constantly turning left at Chicago. So, and that's one of my favorite mile-and-a-half racetracks, and I'm really looking forward to being there.
But we won't be there for another 2 weeks' time. Everyone's going to enjoy their Labor Day weekend next week. I'm going to enjoy my birthday on a personal note. So, have fun, and we'll see you in 2 weeks' time at Chicagoland. But before we leave tonight, let's thank a few people, including Clipping at Apex.com for coming on tonight and sponsoring tonight's race. They've sponsored a few races this season, so we're very grateful to have them on board, as well, of course, as the organisers and the competitors in the iROC HPP Simulation Truck Series for coming here tonight and putting on a great show. We would also like to thank the makers of the various software and the hardware that you see listed on your screen. Thanks to the team today, Tanner Sharp, Joe Peak and our camera guru, Dougie Beard. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, you can find it at globalsimracingchannel.com, along with archived races and upcoming broadcasts. We're also on Twitter at GSR Channel and Facebook at facebook.com/globalsimracingchannel. A special thanks goes out to Eric Ekholm and Casey Lalonde to provide us with our music. You can buy Eric's on iTunes and Spotify, and Casey's at caseylalonde.bandcamp.com. All of our upcoming races for our other series on screen, so be sure to check those out, mark them down on your calendar, and don't miss another second of exciting racing action. This is our last broadcast of August. Hope you had a fun summer, everybody. But until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.